We bought the Taproot filly out of Tisn't She Beautiful, and will be trained by Todd Pletcher. Extremely athletic, a lot like him. We're excited to see him on the track.
Beautiful filly. She's out of a graded stakes mare that ran early as a 2-year-old, so I like that quite a bit out of her. This filly looks like she's going to be super early and precocious. Very good muscled filly, just a lot to like about her.
Taproot, standing at Gainesway.
Hi everybody, Dan Illman, Mike Beer. Kentucky Derby qualifying points on the line in the feature race at Turfway Park on Saturday. It is the Grade 3, $600,000 Jeff Ruby Stakes. We're going 1 1/8 miles on the poly track. Let's take a look at this field. Our coverage is presented by Gainesway Farm, the home of Taproot, one of 4 Belmont Stakes winners, sired by the legendary Tappet, who also stands at Gainesway. Taproot just very will be a chip off the old block at stud. 'Tis the Bomb, the number 7, 2-1 on the morning line. Mike, this horse was the runner-up in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf and won the local prep last time out. A horse that kicks hard in the stretch.
Yeah, he does. Boy, did he bomb in his 3-year-old debut when they switched him back to dirt at Gulfstream Park. But he really rebounded nicely last time to win over this track.
Horse on the outside in here, Blackadder, comes off of a win over Synthetic in the El Camino Real Derby, formerly trained by Bob Baffert, trying to get some points for the new trainer. Let's take a look at the Timeform US pace projector for this race. Not surprisingly, in a big field like this, we are expecting a fast pace. Constitution Lawyer chased fast fractions last time out in the Withers. That horse should be forwardly placed. Dowagiac Chief has shown a good amount of speed in his career. And the number 6, Great Escape, has also shown some speed. So this pace should be solid.
Yeah, I feel that. It doesn't necessarily have to be blazing up there, Dan. It feels like there are going to be a few horses going forward.
The number 1, Royal Spirit, is multiple stakes placed on the turf, and he has shown the ability to stay close to the pace. Something tells me that on Saturday, however, he's going to face faster fractions than he's ever experienced on turf. But let's watch his last effort. The Grade 3 King's Joy at Gulfstream, going 1 1/16. He got up close to the pace. He makes the lead turning into the stretch. He just misses, but the 3rd place horse flattered the performance by coming back to win the Palm Beach with an 80 buyer.
Yeah, I mean, he ran fine in here. There are no excuses for him in this race. It just turns out that his stablemate there, the one who just got clear, is a little bit of a better horse than Royal Spirit is, but he runs well in this race. Listen, I can't say I'm a big fan of this horse, and I don't necessarily want to bet him in here, but I wouldn't be surprised if he handled the surface switch here. He's got a great post on the inside. He's, to me, a very fair price on the morning line. I mean, I think all those things are positives. I just don't like this horse that much.
Todd Pletcher, of course, trains by Into Mischief. They can do anything. 16% winners with synthetic rounders. Just seemed like to me that this horse is still a bit green. He made the lead, just started looking around a little bit, and that other Pletcher horse was able to run him down. Stolen Base is the number 2, and Stolen Base really likes that Timeform US pace projector because this is a 1-run closer. He ran okay in the Texas Turf Mile 2 starts back. He didn't break well. That's fine because he's a closer. But I'm looking at his form now, Mike. He's finished behind 'Tis the Bomb on 3 occasions, and he had the right race shape in his last 2.
Yeah, that's true enough. I mean, certainly that Texas Turf Mile, that was a closer's race. He just happened to wind up last, and he couldn't make up enough ground. And, that's just been a real problem for him. When you go back to the Bourbon last year when 'Tis the Bomb beat him the first time, I mean, this horse just had way too much to do in that race. He came widest. He was making up ground with every stride, and he ran out of time. Sort of a similar thing last time on this surface, Dan. He got down inside. He got clear behind the winner in that race. He only had about a furlong to try to catch him, and he couldn't quite get up. I would not be surprised if he was able to turn the tables on 'Tis the Bomb in this race, but he's going to need some help. And Maker's going to try to put blinkers on this time. We'll see if it makes a difference.
Maybe the blinkers will get him a little bit closer to the pace, but it's his 3rd start of the form cycle. He'll be running late. He just needs a little bit of racing luck. Cabo Spirit, talk about a little bit of class relief. Look at the 2 monsters he's been up against on dirt in Southern California in his last 2 starts. Forbidden Kingdom, Messier. Take those 2 races off his page. You see a horse that's very, very good on turf. He won the Eddie Logan on grass 3 starts back. Turf form often translates well to synth, and his sire, Pioneer of the Nile, excels on synthetic. 20% winners.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if he can handle this surface. If he runs as well, even close to as well on this surface as he does on turf, I think he's a contender in here, Dan. I don't really care about his dirt races. Forgetting even about the 2 horses he was in against in those last 2 starts. I just don't think he's as good on that surface. His turf races are good. That Eddie Logan, he ran really, really well in that race, and he was very handy in that spot too, Dan. Always had a lot of horse, forced his way clear, big finish in that race. If he handles this surface, which I think he's a contender.
The number 4 is Rich Strike, and this horse has moved forward since moving to the synthetic surface in his last 2 races. Stakes placed 2 starts back, a rallying 4th behind Tiz the Bomb in the Battaglia, but another one of those closers in the Battaglia that seemed to maybe benefit just a little bit by the way the race was run.
Yeah, true enough. And he didn't really have a huge excuse in there, Dan. I mean, he was far out of it, but he got to save an awful lot of ground in that race. He never really got stopped in the stretch, and he wasn't ever a real factor at the end. He's not terrible, but this is a tough spot for him.
Tawny Port makes plenty of sense for trainer Brad Cox. He won his first 2 starts going 2 turns at Turfway. They tried him on the dirt in the Risen Star. He was wired by the current Derby favorite Epicenter, who of course came back to win the Louisiana Derby with a 102 buyer. And he just kind of found himself on hold down on the rail on the 2nd turn, last on the rail, turning for home, altered course sharply, was making up a little ground. I thought this horse showed some potential in that race.
I agree. That trip didn't work out for him at all. And that was, of course, the Risen Star, the Epicenter race where he just got absolutely loose and controlled the pace in there. This horse really had no chance with the trip that he got. His first 2 wins, I was pretty impressed with both of those performances, Dan. They were over this surface as well. I'm, a little concerned that he's going to take a lot of money in here, but I'm definitely using this horse.
Synthetic debut for the 6, Great Escape, who just scored in his seasonal debut on dirt at Oaklawn Park. Actually ran 2nd in that race after a pace-setting gambit. Let's watch that race right now. Great Escape went right to the front in this race and just got a little bit tired at the end. He's going to try a synthetic surface, Midnight Storm, limited data, 13% winners with synthetic routers. This dam did win on turf, and this horse has also shown the ability to sit and finish, and I think that might be the plan on Saturday.
Yeah, I agree. I think they probably will. They'll be within range here, but I don't think they're going to go to the lead this time. And, listen, maybe he just needed this race off the left. He got a little tired there in the stretch and was only 2nd best. We'll see how he handles this surface. But he's another horse who feels like he's got upside, and he's going to be a price.
Tiz the Bomb, Grade 2 stakes winner last year on turf, 2nd in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf, and won the Battaglia Memorial, the local prep last time out, rallying from off the pace. He has a little bit of a reputation. I think 2-1 is a little bit light, but maybe he'll drift just a bit, and he should get the right race flow.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I can't really argue too hard against him. He was good as a 2-year-old. He did win on dirt. Most of his success came on the turf, though. I don't know what happened in the Holy Bull off the layoff, but I guess you're just supposed to give him a pass for that one. And listen, he ran well last time. I wasn't blown away by the performance. It didn't make me want to take, something around 2-1 on him in here, but he can certainly win this race.
Steve Asmussen sends out the 8 Red Run off of a stakes win on turf at Sam Houston. Let's watch that effort, the Texas Turf Mile. It was a race that went to closers, and you're going to see Red Run get to the outside in the stretch. He's going to get the jump on the horse directly behind him. That's Stolen Base, who's going to get up for 3rd. Red Run is able to seal the deal and beat a couple of next out winners. I can understand anyone that makes the argument that Dowagiac Chief ran the best race of this group.
Yeah, I guess that's true, Danny. He was closer to the pace than everybody else. I still thought Red Run, ran really, really well in there. He is a horse to me. It just sort of felt like, too, he spent most of last year just sort of finding himself. It felt like he really needed the racing, and I think he's getting better with experience. He's a contender again.
The Asmussen barn has been cold recently at Turfway, if you take a look at Formulator, but this one's by Gunrunner, who, of course, has gotten off to a fantastic start, even with his synthetic runners, about 30% with his synthetic routers. Dowagiac Chief was part of that wicked pace in the Texas Turf Mile and ran pretty well to be 4th behind Red Run, and then he got a much easier setup last time out in the Black Gold at the Fairgrounds. He was odds-on and supposed to beat that field anyway, but he got away with easy fractions, and then he sprinted right on home. The problem is it looks like there's going to be some pace for him to deal with early here.
Yeah, this might be one of those faster paced races, and he is a horse who wants to be forward in his races. I guess more than anything else, Dan, I just sort of struggled with finding the one race of his that I really like. I mean, he's obviously won pretty well in just about all of them. I don't know. I just don't know how good he actually is, and he didn't feel like he was going to be some kind of price I wouldn't be able to resist in here.
Synthetic debut for a horse who is a full brother to a synthetic winner. Up to Go-Go is the Calumet Farm homebred, trained by Owen Hardy. This horse didn't fire last time out in the Pasadena after a little bit of a slow break from a tough outside post. That race on turf at Santa Anita. The synthetic form was okay from last year.
Yeah, his synthetic form is okay. He hasn't necessarily improved since then, but maybe that's just not the right surface for him, the turf. I don't know. He's got a lot to prove against a field like this, but maybe he'll take a step forward.
Constitution Lawyer, the number 11, earned a big Beyer speed figure 2 starts back when wiring them over a muddy dirt track at Aqueduct at this mile and an 1/8 distance. Now, they ran him in the Withers. I liked him a little bit that day. He was bet down to 5-1. He chased a very fast pace, and he certainly paid the price. The Withers has come back surprisingly strong. The runner-up Unoho came back to win the Rebel with an 84. We'll see if he wants a synthetic. His dam did win at Turfway.
Yeah, I won't be surprised if he handles the surface switch. If nothing else, even if this pace is fast, Dan, it's not going to be as fast as the Withers was. So I guess he has that going for him. He did run well breaking his maiden 2 starts back, too. I'm not going to argue with anybody who likes this horse. He looked like he really needed those first 2 starts. He didn't run poorly in either one of those races, and he took a big step forward breaking his maiden. This horse has some talent.
The ex-Baffert horse is the 12 Blackadder, who completes the body of the field. 13 Swings Shift is on the also eligible list. Let's watch Blackadder win the El Camino Real Derby over Tepida at Golden Gate Fields. It was his synthetic debut, coming on the heels of an off-turf dirt win at Santa Anita. This horse got the right pace scenario, and all in all, this trip works out, Mike. They stayed in, the split opened up, and this horse finished.
Yeah, great trip and ride here, and it really feels like it just made all the difference in this race for him to manage to get the job done at the end. Listen, only 4 starts. It feels like he's improving all the time, and maybe he can take another step forward here. He's got a tough post to overcome.
Distance, very good for him. Of course, the El Camino Real, the same distance as the Jeff Ruby Stakes. Let's take a look at our top selections for the Jeff Ruby Stakes. And again, it's a pretty wide open race. Cabo Spirit's taking on tough competition on dirt. I don't think that's his surface. He's certainly run well on turf, and maybe he'll get lost a little bit in the shuffle from a wagering standpoint.
That's what I was hoping for. I was hoping he'd just be a big price in this race, and I do think he has enough talent to go with these horses. Obviously the surface is a little bit of an unknown for him. I'll just hope that he handles it. The other horse for me was Tawny Port, Dan. I feel like he's going to take a lot of money in here, but I'm not so sure that's not deserved.
I want to use Tawny Port. I want to use Red Run. I kind of want to use closers in this race. Red Run did get the right setup in the Texas Turf Mile. Think he's going to get another good setup here for the Asmussen Barn. He's a fair price right now on the morning line. 3-5-2-7 for Mike. 8, 9, 5, and 2. Let's see who gets a well done in the Jeff Ruby Stakes